time I started researching to actually publishing, and I set up my own publishing company to publish this. And this is Dragon Wing Publishing is my company. But today I brought some props, and those of you who know me know that I have this extensive dragon collection. And I've been fascinated with dragons since I was 6, 7 years old, when my mom gave me one of my first dragons. And, this is the first, basically one of the first dragons that she gave me. And I've been collecting dragons ever since. And some of these dragons that are on display here are, I use their essence, their personalities in the book. I have one of my favorite characters. He started off being a pretty minor character. And he's turned into a crowd favorite, and that's Grayson. That's my wingless dragon. He's a drake in the book. So you can come up afterwards and see a few things. The newest dragon I've got, well, 2 things. I got some bling. My brother-in-law with a nice dragon on here. But I also got this dragon here from another writer, Julie Kagawa. She writes YA fantasy, and she makes dragons as well. And she was just at the San Francisco Writers Conference a couple weeks ago when I picked up that dragon, because I loved it. It matched the color of my book. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. Obviously, my love of dragons really got me started on this book. But really, I was kind of born on the wrong planet. And I'm not talking about the Mars versus Venus thing. I'm talking about I should have been born in the Sagittarius sector on a planet that's known as Pern. Now, I don't know if any of you know, but Anne McCaffrey, my favorite writer, she writes all of her Dragon Rider series on Pern. And I really, really wanted to be flying atop a dragon. And since I couldn't do that because it was a fictional planet, dragons were fictional in her world, I decided that I would tell the stories of dragons and dragon riders. So when the idea bloomed into my mind, really, I wanted to sit on the back of a dragon. I wanted to fly through the air. I wanted to save the world. But I couldn't do that on Pern, so I wondered, where could dragons exist here on Earth? Where would they be accepted with the magic? And I thought, at the same time, I'm very interested in my Celtic heritage. And I found out that I had ancestors from both Scotland and Ireland. So I said, wow, I've got these 2 places that I can really set my novel. Magic would be accepted in both. And I started doing some research. And the first place I researched was Ireland. And basically, I fell in love. I fell in love with the place that I'd never been to before, just based on pictures and reading stories that were set in Ireland, some of the fables and the myths of Ireland. And I decided, I'll do a series. And I'll set the first book in Ireland. The next book can be set in Scotland. Maybe the 3rd one will be in England. I'll just keep with that whole thing. So, my journey began writing this book. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a reading from the book. And this is in the first chapter. Watery sunlight broke the boundary between night and day. A steady rain highlighted the eeriness of the hour. He crept past the white thorn tree, pregnant with white and colored ribbons marking the remembrances of lost ones. They were mocking him. 10 meters ahead, a stone circle with another white thorn on the northern side stood in silent memorial. The mist swirled and parted, and a figure dressed in dark hooded outfit and black wellies emerged from beneath the tree. She walked to the center of the upright stones. He stole through the grass toward the lone person. The twigs snapped like gunfire, ricocheting into a tin can. And the figure spun toward him. The hood fell back, blonde woman. Her hair frizzed with the rain, and her dark eyes, and her mouth twisted in a snarl. "What are you doing here?" Her cheeks flushed and her eyes narrowed. "Haven't you done enough?" His jaw slackened, his mouth fell open, but no sound emerged. The wind caught and shredded her next words. His bloody rage roared through his body, drumming in his ears, and he clouded his vision red. He forced the air through his lungs. With his unsteady hand, he pulled a dual-handled dagger from the sheath right at his belt. "Get it over with quick," he thought, before the monster descends. Now, he screamed in his mind. Feet planted, he stood, eyes transfixed, unable to wrench his gaze from the apparition. The dragon grew in density. The gray shadow changed to iridescent burgundy. It stood on scaly hind legs, thick as juvenile oak trunks. Spikes erupted from the top of its head. A red, forked tongue flicked between gleaming, sharp white teeth. Sapphire eyes swirled under its lowered brows, and the bat-shaped wings extended from its back, hiding the woman. Its chest, devoid of the diamond-hard scales, lay exposed. He gripped his fingers around the jewel handle of the dagger, flipped it until it pinched between the tip of his finger and his thumb, drew back his arm, and hurled it. A strangled cry escaped from the woman's lips. He braced to absorb the dragon magic that he knew would be released, and the dagger passed through the still shimmering form of the dragon and embedded in the woman's heart. And I'll stop there for the reading.